How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Mega Rule of 31. Mega, we're on a little bit of a tilt here with the ending of that Xfinity race today. A little unfortunate to see Ty Gibbs spit out. Kind of left us on the bubble, but we have a good 109 laps here for the Bank of America Roval 400. Going to be fun one. Charlotte Roval, end of the round 12. You excited?
Yeah, I just apologize to our viewers, and it's pretty cool like how many people reached out to at least me on Twitter and asked like, "Hey man, where are the videos last weekend?" But it just didn't make a lot of sense for us to do them. Plus, I had like my work schedule was just like crazy. I worked late on Friday and then early on Saturday, and the two races were on Saturday, so to try to get it in, it was just almost impossible. But like we never would have like done a video and tell you, hey, pick Tate Fullerman and take Brandon Brown and take, well, I did have Bubba Wallace in my FanDuel lineup and a couple of my DK ones, but I never dreamed of him winning the race. I just thought he was a decent, fill-in play. So, but congratulations, Bubba, and like the 23 team. We've been hoping all year for success for that, and hopefully now they have some momentum into next year. They add another car with Kurt Busch, and it should be a very formidable team. So, but we appreciate everybody watching and giving us comments and feedback. And so here we are, and we should be together for the next couple races. We got 5 more this year, and should be exciting.
Let's make them good. Yeah, let's make them good ones. Let's make them profitable. Yeah, we were definitely on the right roster construction for the Xfinity race. I was, before that last lap, we were sitting there pretty, all of us. But hey, you can't predict some things, and especially in a variable sport like NASCAR, where cars are driving as fast as they can, and now they're doing left turns with right turns, and yeah, so it happens. And now we're moving on to the Cup race. Like I said, we have 109 laps, so we have a little bit of dominator points potentially here, especially if cars are unable to get track position and get the good, place differential that we're looking for typically on road courses. But we're going to break down the field here.
Let's start with the playoff picture first, though.
Yep. I was going to get to that. Well, we're going to break down the field here. We're going to talk about the playoff picture, and we're going to say, who is our fades, who is our plays, who's our cash, who's our GPP. Mega, kick us off with a little bit of the playoff picture before we start talking about drivers.
So if you're looking at the screen, if you're looking at the end column, you see numbers 1 through 12. That's where they are right now. So after this race, they'll cut down to 8 players. Denny Hamlin has a win. He's solidly into the next round. Larson, Logano, Keselowski, and Truex should be far enough ahead. I believe it's like 20 some points. So I can't imagine that like all of them would fall below the cut line. And the guys that are like down, you see the red ones in 10, 11, and 12, they are so far behind that it's almost mathematically impossible for them to drive their way into this. They're going to have to win the race. So let's say that the ones in lighter green, like Larson, Truex, Logano, and Keselowski, even if they crash and finish 40th, should still advance. Blaney I think he's about 20, maybe it's 15 points. So he's close, but these other guys are within some single digits right in the middle there. So the cut line's 8. So right now, Elliott and Busch is in, and Harvick is right there with them. And I think Blaney, if he has a really, really bad race, might be in danger. But I think that's the sweet spot for where this battle's going to be. So how's it going to affect them? If one of these guys crashes early and is out, then I think they might all run a conservative race and, just try to advance to the 8, because there's no real reason, unless, they're very, very close and have a really good dominated car, to try to press to win it. Because as we saw, we had Mayer, who I'll give him credit. I thought he was not going to be doing well, but he was in second. And then, he gets misses a turn or gets squeezed out, and he ends up finishing, I think it was like 6th, 7th, or 8th, so loses some spots. And so these guys I can see that are in the yellow, if something happens to just one of them, the rest of them should all be pretty conservative, just try to get to the end of the race and advance to the next round. Whereas like Byron Bellman and Christopher Bell are really going to have to swing for the fences.
Yeah, definitely going to take all of that into consideration, especially with the guys that are going to be racing to win, the guys that are going to be conservative, and the guys that are probably just out there to turn laps, get some stage points, get some playoff points, and call it a day. All right, so now we're going to talk. So we're going to break this field down one by one. Kicking us off is Denny Hamlin at 9,500, the pole sitter. Probably a cash play. I don't think Denny can wire to wire, but certainly a gentleman that can get quite a few quite a few lead laps and fastest laps, and then could very much so finish inside the top 5. So exposure, yes. Willie would be in my, booster cash lineups. Probably not though. What are your thoughts?
I like him. I like him a lot more in FanDuel, where you really need to get finishing position, the winner more than DK. But if you remember, I feel that Indy is probably one of the closest races. I know we had a little debate about this pre-show. You like Daytona better as a comparison.
Yeah.
But in the Indy race, Hamlin was out there and pretty much was dominating. Probably could have won the race if there wasn't the late caution, where I believe it was maybe Chase Briscoe got up next to him and had him cut down a tire, and then he had to go change it. And I think he finished somewhere in the teens. But Hamlin's a good road course driver. I think he's kind of underrated. Gibbs has had a great program for these playoffs, and I like the price. I think he's a cash play, but he is a little bit risky, because if he doesn't finish first and starts to fall backwards, if he finishes 10th, he might lose a little bit of points if he doesn't get the dominator points to offset it.
Correct. And that is the risk versus reward here. I think he's going to be a good pick for GPPs. Next up, we have Brad Keselowski, 8,500. This is not your typical road course guy. I think Keselowski's feeling like he's, going to be in. And I don't think he risks anything tomorrow. And I just don't want a guy that's going to just be content running 12th to 15th. So I'm out.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah. That's just nothing more you need to say about that. Keselowski will not be aggressive on a course where he knows one slip up, one wreck, and he's going to be off the bubble and out. So Keselowski is going to be the most conservative playoff driver tomorrow. I am out. Next up, we have Joey Logano at 8,100. He's fairly safe, as you had mentioned before, talking the playoff picture. So he doesn't necessarily have to win, but I think he's going to be aggressive early to try to get stage points. What happens to him towards the end of the race is an unknown, but I think 8,100 is not a bad price tag for GPPs. I don't think he'd be in my favorite GPP lineup, but I could understand this in a multiple entry standpoint.
I'm listed as cash just for the 8,100. He has been good on road courses. I don't think he has any wins, but he's been up there in the top 5. So the consistency is there. But I like other guys better, just plain and simple.
Yeah. Next up, we have Christopher Bell, winner of the Daytona road course earlier this year, 8,400. Joe Gibbs looks like they're ready for the playoffs. Not only is Denny Hamlin, but all of these other Gibbs cars, as you had mentioned earlier in the season. I don't mind him here. I think he's got some upside. I think he's going to be racing to win, and I think that makes him aggressive at 8,400. I think it's perfect price tag.
Yeah, he was GPP to fade for me. I get it. I understand it. But I think it's more of a tournament play just with the upside, but just how aggressive he could potentially be, it just scares me off of him in cash.
Yeah, it is certainly fair to say. So GPP only. Next up, we have Martin Truex Jr., 10-1. I struggle to figure out what to do with Truex on road courses. I don't like his price tag here. I like other guys better. But what can you sell me on with Truex?
Well, it looks like there have been 3 phases of road courses kings. The current reigning king, I would have to say, is Kyle Larson. He dominated at Sonoma. He did, I think he won another one recently too.
Yeah.
Right before that, it was Elliott, and Elliott seemed to more specialize not on the real road courses. He seemed to specialize more on these rolls. And if you watched our first video, I said, if I went out to my backyard and I put a garbage bag on the slide and ran a hose down it, and put a kiddie pool at the bottom, did I create a water park? And that's kind of how I feel about some of these oval tracks that they're actually, turning the infield into an amusement park and like putting up some like bumpers and stuff to make it a road course.
Yeah.
But Truex is the one that did really well previously, Elliott, on the real road courses like Sonoma and Watkins Glen. Because remember, you only had about two, and then the Roval was like the third one that came into effect. I think it was in 2018. So these guys really haven't run many road courses. This year they had six. So I like Truex here in cash. I'm not going to play him in my primary cash line. I understand it. I think he's a good pivot off of Elliott and Larson. So if you look at those three as like going back probably the last 5 years with the most road course wins, he fits in there. He has had better form in the playoffs. Like I said, after the first couple races, it really seems that Gibbs was sandbagging during the year, and now they're ready to play for real when it's, everything's on the line. Whereas Hendrick, seems to be coasting a little bit. The cars don't seem to be as dominant. So I like him in cash. He's 100% in my GPP lineup. So if he fits your bill, then, but I think, like you said, if you're doing like a 20 max, you're going to want to, there's guys down at the bottom that we're going to give you that are going to be your core bread and butter guys. So up top here, you see nobody listed as prime, and the prime guys are usually my core guys. There's a lot of cash guys. And I think what you want to do is you want to rotate combinations of two of them. Three of them is going to be a little bit risky. You're not going to like what the bottom of your lineup looks like. And you're really going to want to get a really high priced player coming up towards the bottom, probably in your lineup. So that's my thoughts on Truex.
All righty. I think I'm going to have him in some lineups come tomorrow. Next up is one of my favorite plays for GPPs, and that is Ryan Blaney. Kind of underrated when it comes to road courses. You kind of think of this driver as a super speedway guru. He just did Talladega. I'm sure he did okay, but he did not win. Or did he? No, he did not win Talladega. Bubba Wallace. Yeah,
but he might have if the rain didn't come out like that.
Yeah, he had a really good car. Yeah.
But I agree.
So
he's one.
Yeah, I like him for GPPs. Yeah,
he's one that has been better on this type of road course than the Sonoma and Watkins Glen.
Yeah. In his 4 races at the Charlotte Roval, or 3 races at the Roval, he has 1 win, 2 top 20s, or 2 top 5s, 30 laps led, and an average finish of 4.6. So I am in on Blaney. He loves this little setup here for the Roval. I don't think he's going to be high owned, so I think that's going to lead me to a perfect GPP. I already was practicing with some builds with some of the core guys that we had talked about before the show, and he fits nicely, and his exposure gets me to a driver that, I want other exposure to as well. So I like the builds with this little balanced lineup with him in it. So I'm going to have Blaney, and hopefully he can get to that. I think he finished second in the Indianapolis race as well. So, or it might have been Circuit of the Americas. He did finish he does really well on these road courses this year. So in on Blaney. I am out on this next guy. That is Kevin Harvick, 8,200. Not a good road course driver. Bubble car though. I mean, you can make a case that he's going to have to be aggressive to make sure that he gets into the top 8. I don't like him being aggressive on a road course though. So for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, the only thing that's interesting here is like maybe like the pricing on him, but I agree with you. I think again that if he's not the one that has the issue, it's most likely going to be Kyle Busch, because Kyle Busch has had so many issues. It's had so many when it's come to these road courses. Has had so many like dented fenders or like broken like drivetrains, or like only can drive in 4th gear. Like he just needs a rabbit foot or something on these courses here. So he would probably be the one that like drops out, and then Blaney, Harvick, and Chase Elliott. So Harvick gets the last, is last man in, unless, one of these guys wins the race, then that could make it, if Bell, or if anybody, well, it'd have to be somebody ahead of him. But anyways, we'll go into that scenario. But no, like Harvick, I think is a GPP. And that's what I always said. He was probably good at road course driving at one point in his 50-year career driving. But Yeah, no. So on to next guy.
Yep, and that is Chase Elliott, winner of the last two Roval races. 10-7, he is the highest priced driver in the field. Expected to be
No, he's not.
chalk with the no? Or no, you're right. You're right. There's no. Yeah. We'll talk about him later. He will
Yep.
definitely be the highest owned. And he is the highest price as well. Chase Elliott, though, is a very strong candidate to be a very popular play tomorrow. Starting 8th, he's going to get some place differential by race end. I'm sure he'll have some laps led at some point or another. Chase Elliott is going to be well debated for myself as one of my top plays for tomorrow. Your thoughts?
Same. Yeah, it's come to me for cash. It came down with my one dominator. Is it going to be Elliott or Larson? I'm leaning Larson, but I don't hate Chase Elliott.
Yeah,
and
you can't argue against.
I'll probably have I might even split my cash here. I might have a hedge line with him because
So I could certainly understand it. And little choppy. Go ahead.
So Kyle Busch in between, these two, I think I'm going to pair him with Truex to start my GPP lines. But for cash, it's going to be either Larson or Elliott. And then we really run into the problem because we come to like Byron and Bowman, who are both winner get in. Hendricks, some place differential. I haven't listed his GPP but Byron hasn't been the greatest. Well, he's been good here, but I don't know if he's going to press too much and make mistakes and get a dented fender, cut down a tire, end up in the back and not be able to make his way back up. And Bowman, he just hasn't been good here. I think he can be a top 10 car, but I don't think he can like win it. Like we always say, like whatever surprises if he does get up there and win it. No, but I just don't see that in this race.
Yeah, I certainly don't know what happened with our connection just there. My apologies, Mega. But last I knew we were talking about Elliott. Were we skipping around to Busch and Larson?
Yeah, I just grouped them all together because you have all the Hendricks cars there in one row. Like Chase Elliott and Larson are the cash plays to pick from. Kyle Busch in between them is a GPP, and then Byron and Bowman, I think, are very volatile with what they have to do to win this. And it might help though too, because I don't know, will they be nickel and diming trying to get stage points, and but I don't think that's going to help them here at all because they're so far behind. So for them, I think it's just like win or nothing.
Yeah, and I think Byron is a little too high priced for me at 9,700. A guy that's not going to lead any laps. He is going to try to win the race. I like that kind of aggressiveness for that price tag. But realistically, what I'm trying for is someone that I know is good at road courses like Kyle Busch. And he has that winning upside. I've seen him do it. I haven't seen Byron dominate a road course, so I'm probably out at that price tag. I can understand Bowman. I like that play a little bit more with the price tag that he has. He has surprisingly good finishes at some road courses this year. And then obviously I'm always going to play Kyle Larson. And I think Kyle Busch would be like the first man in my GPPs because I think he'll have lower ownership because of the way, he's kind of sandwiched in between some of the, top plays up there but he is also like that first guy down before Denny Hamlin. I don't know. It's tough to say now, but I like Chase. Busch, probably my GBP. Larson, obviously going to have a high exposure to him. And out on Byron, in on Bowman. That leads us to Kurt Busch. And we all know I'm not a very big Kurt Busch fan, but I love Kurt Busch in this spot. 8,700 is not high enough for this guy starting 13th. I think he can finish inside the top 5. He's a really good road course driver. He wins road courses all the time. I think he can have a potentially winning upside race. I think he's racing for pride at this point, and I think that makes him a very dangerous driver in the one. Chip Ganassi trying to go out on a high note, and I think he gives Chip his best option to win one more before the season's over. So give me Kurt Busch in a ton of lineups tomorrow.
Agree.
Yeah. I don't like Kurt Busch. We know that, but I'm in like hardcore. Like, so one last time, let's go, Kurt. Pull it out. Win this race. I might bet it too. Next up, we have Austin Dillon in the 3 car. No thanks.
We can eliminate the next 3 guys, and it's not
And that
they're bad drivers. It's just they're starting too far, and this is not their forte. I know Bubba has some momentum now, but he's not great on road courses. Austin Dillon's not great on road courses. And last year, I think he missed this one because Casgralla had to come in. I think he had COVID.
Yes.
Okay. So he might have less experience here. And then Buescher is not great on this either. So yeah, just skip all over those. So now we come to Erik Jones, who we have to really figure out.
Yeah. This was a driver, as we talked about earlier in the pre-race show or pre-show. I had mentioned that I was contemplating playing him with some of the high upside finishes he's had in some of the road courses this year. You know, you scale back to Daytona, he finished inside the top 10. You scale back to Indy, he was a top 15 car. He's got some good race. He's good driver on road courses. There could be that Richard Petty Motorsports moment where like the brakes just go out and he can't
Josh
turn. Just go straight.
Yeah, took out the Chastain today or whatever you call those things, and they had to do a little road work in Xfinity to fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, like that potentially could happen to Erik Jones at none of his fault either. Just poor equipment could really just damper his day. But I like his racing upside in that car. So I'm going to have exposure, and I think it could be a low owned play. That could be a GPP winning play. Like, I don't like this. I have to play Kurt Busch. I have to play Erik Jones. Like, my gut feelings on players I don't play. It's just not normal for me. I'm outside my element.
I don't think you have to play Erik Jones.
No, I guess no feeling on these plays, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
okay. I wouldn't say you have to play. I think you do have to play Kurt Busch, though. I think that's a tremendous spot.
I'm okay with him with his pedigree, but Erik Jones with the tech, I think, you're equal stuck with Ryan Preece for $400 less, who started 31st. So,
and that's the logical explanation. That is that is the absolute play. I think Erik Jones could finish ahead of where he starts, even at 17th. GPP only. Next up, we have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Really cheap price tag. Is he as bad on road courses as one would presume, or is this an actually decent play?
No, he's a decent driver. He should finish at least in the top 20. Like, maybe he loses a couple spots, but okay, let's just take a timeout here and look. And I'm gonna count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There may be 5 or 6 drivers I think can get ahead of Ricky Stenhouse here. So that would make him finish like 25th, which isn't horrible.
Okay.
But I think there's some attrition ahead of him because, like we said, we don't know about Jones's tech, and Buescher, Wallace, and Dillon could all struggle. So that could negate the 5, and he could finish where he started. So I like him. I think he's more of a cash play based on pricing and based on he hasn't been horrible at road courses.
Okay. I'm gonna think a little bit harder on it. I think 56 is a really good price tag, though. You get way more of a salary savings on Erik Jones. Maybe there's just as much upside. We'll see. Next up, we have Michael McDowell, pretty good road course driver, 7,100. You're getting a little bit higher in price, but I think McDowell offers a little bit of safety. Your thoughts on McDowell?
This makes my head hurt.
Yeah, I know.
I built my lineup, and I was stuck between McDowell and Suarez as my last guy in.
Oof. You're not a big Suarez guy. Notorious.
It's like you with Jones situationally, or like Kyle Busch, or like Kurt Busch situationally. Doesn't make sense. I don't know. Like McDowell is a good driver. He did really good at Coda, finished in the top 10. And that race was a monsoon. Now it's supposed to rain in Charlotte tomorrow. These cars do run in the rain. They do have the one like Uniwiper that they put on them, and they have special rain tires. And he is a good road course driver, so he's got so many positives. But his car, the front row car, I've seen break down. He has struggled at times. He's starting a little bit like if he was starting 29th, lock button, but 19, I don't know. And 71 seems a little bit. I mean, I'll debate the two of those, but I might actually just like drop down and play and like leave $1,100 or $1,000 on the table and take Ryan Preece, because if you looked at like the plays today, like people paid up for implied value plays or like these road course ringers and stuff. But if you looked at the top 16, besides like two guys, they were all guys that started at the top of the field. So like nobody really gained a lot of place differential. So I don't know. I'll have to sleep on this one.
Yeah, I think so. I think
if any of you have any insight for me, then post it in the comments, please. Maybe we should go. Should Mega play Suarez or should Mega play McDowell?
All right. So like this video, comment below with McDowell or Suarez heading into tomorrow. Help Mega figure out the final piece to his puzzle. Next up is Anthony Alfredo, who drove above his head at Talladega. No thanks.
No. No.
Moving on to the next guy I probably won't have much exposure to, and that is Eric Almirola. 7,300 is way too expensive for a guy I don't think can finish even ahead of where he starts.
No.
Out on those two. Next up, we have probably the more interesting part of the slate. That is Chase Briscoe at 7,600. A driver with some road course pedigree, really did well at Indy before ultimately wrecking himself out of that race, or at least wrecking himself out of winning that race. Briscoe, a fine road course driver, 7,600 is not too expensive. You're getting a little place differential here. I think this sets up for a pretty good play. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like him here.
Yeah,
I don't know if he will fit my build. I'm kind of intrigued now, though, because I'll let you know in a little bit, but I'm seeing something now. It might help solve my problem.
Uh-oh.
But
I see where the cog wheels are spinning, ladies and gentlemen. The man is at work. Next up, we have that was all systems go on Briscoe. Next up, we have one of the cheap prime plays of the slate for Mega. That is Cole Custer. You have the floor.
He's not a great road course driver, but he's 5,700 in a Stewart-Haas car, which is a good piece of equipment. So I don't really see a ton of people. Maybe he loses 4 or 5 spots, but he's 5,700. That's it. Right. He should be 7.3 or 7.6 with his other teammates here. Actually, if anything, Eric Almirola should be 5,700 and Cole Custer should be 7,300. So complete misprice. Probably gonna be the highest owned player in the slate in cash. Just lock him in.
There you have it. Cole Custer, super cheap, helping you get to the super elites. I like that little transition as we work into Ryan Newman at 6,700. I would just pay $1,000 less to play Cole Custer. Is there? I think the same driver. That's a
good way to put it. But yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Honestly, just starting the same place. I think this next driver, though, as you had talked about a little bit earlier, Daniel Suarez, 7K, has a little bit more upside than either Newman or Custer, I think, in finishing position. But, Suarez hasn't really been on fire. So your thoughts? Do you have any on
Well,
Suarez?
the only thing I can hope for is Cully got the Trackhouse cars, correct?
And they are really good at road courses.
Absolutely, yes. So maybe that
Yeah.
helps me make my decision.
Yeah. I think Suarez, yeah, he has some of the upside. He can get inside that top 15. Custer is just a product of his price and finishing where he starts. Newman is going not backwards, but slightly backwards in ways, I think, with his career. He's just kind of like, what is he, like the safety man now? I don't know. His purpose is just running thin. I don't know. I think Suarez here in this little pocket between 20. Honestly, I think Briscoe would be my favorite play between 22 and 26 with Corey LaJoy, 5,500. Any thoughts on LaJoy?
I would like him if he was starting about 5 places below.
Yeah.
I think he's just a hair too high here.
Yep. Price tag's good. Just lacks upside. And you could honestly say the same about Custer. So I would understand an argument there, but
Custer
has
superior.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. Next up is Ross Chastain, 9,300. I feel like I'm gonna have to be talked out of this play because I know he can finish inside the top 10.
Are you serious? You would pay 9,300 for Ross
I know.
Chastain?
But if he finishes inside that top 10 and nobody dominates this race for more than 30 laps, he could be one of the better plays on the slate. It's a lot of ifs. A lot of ifs. I rather play him than William Byron. And goodbye. I'd rather play him than William Byron. I'd rather play him than Alex Bowman. I would play Kurt Busch over him. I'd play Blaney over him. But that's about as I don't know. If he's just a guy.
He's going to.
What if he's a guy?
You're tying up probably about $2 extra grand in salary that you could be using for somebody else. You're going to end up with like Corey LaJoy or Anthony Alfredo or.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think he's done really well on road courses. I think he could finish pretty high. I don't think it makes it the great play, but I understand it in GPPs.
When you're commenting below telling me who to play between Mcdowell and Suarez, please talk TK out of playing any Ross Chastain.
All right, there, fair enough. Next up, we have Quinn Huff. Are you all in? Just kidding.
I would play Quinn Huff over Ross Chastain.
No, you would not. Stop it. Quinn Huff that is the worst play on the slate. Don't give me that. Guy's starting 28th in the 00 Starcom racing car, 4,500. Now, I guess if you wanted everyone above 9,900, you could play Quinn Huff.
He's the cheapest play for a reason.
Because he's the worst play on the slate, and that's negative points. But hey, if you thought everyone above 9,900 was going to dominate the race and you wanted every lead lap, then sure, play Quinn Huff. Never know. Next up, we have Tyler Reddick and Matt Benedetto.
Trying to play Ross, or if you're trying to play,
if you're squeezing in Ross Chastain,
then you're gonna be playing.
There it is. There it is. They go hand in hand. I'm doing it. One of my 50-cent lineups. I'm doing the Quinn Huff, Ross Chastain sack. Let's go. Starcom, baby. All right. Next up, we have two plays, Tyler Reddick and Matt Benedetto. We're going to connect these two because I think you had pointed out pre-show how intertwined these two are as, really solid plays. Go ahead and talk to us about why Tyler Reddick and Matt Benedetto are keys to this slate.
I think they're starting so far down and they have so much potential to get up into the top 15 and top 10. Benedetto still wants to win to secure his legacy. And I just think it's pretty sad that there's people like, Quinn Huff and Anthony Alfredo and Garrett Smithley, who will drive cars in Cup next year. And Matt Benedetto hasn't I haven't seen anything change in the news, but it still looks like he's odd man out. So I think he really wants to prove that he can win in this level and that he can do well. Strong finish of the season. And Tyler Reddick, he has struggled early on, didn't have the greatest Daytona race here, but throughout the season, he's gotten stronger and stronger. He's got a really good car with this Richard Childress car. So I think the two of them definitely. And what I was thinking about before is Chase Briscoe's 200 cheaper. So I have these, considering these two guys in my cash lineup, I was thinking if I go Briscoe, that gets me 200 more, but that just gets me up to Eric Almirola. So that does not work.
No, it does not. It's certainly going to have these two as a core play for both of them.
If you can't get both of your lineup, you at least play one of them. I prefer Benedetto, but Reddick, if you need the extra 100, is just as good.
Yeah. All right. So those two keys to the slate are talked about. Next up, we have Ryan Preece, a guy that I wasn't initially on, but the more I dug into the history of the road courses this year and how often I saw Ryan Preece's name pop inside that top 15, the more I felt good about this play. And then I looked over some of the, the past history at the Roval. He's got one top 20 in 2 races, even has 8 laps led in an average run or an average finish of 17.5. So count me in on Preece. I think he could be one of the better value plays of the slate.
Yeah. It hasn't been bad here. And I think he's definitely someone that we can consider if you're going stars and scrubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if you want to play Ross Chastain.
If you're trying to squeeze in the Ross Chastain play, Quinn Huff and Preece your way to victory. All right, Cody Ware, another all-in favorite here.
No, he's a fade.
Fade. Don't do it. Just kidding. Rick Ware Racing, no thanks. Next up is AJ Almandinger, the talk of the town, the man on the mission, running out of analogies. AJ Almandinger, play him.
Yeah, he won the race here today. He won the Indy race, even though it was by kind of default. But I really think that he's always been a strong, he belongs in Cup, but I respect the fact that he dropped down and is staying in Xfinity for a year. He's going to run a limited schedule up here, but I think, 23, you're probably going to see him full-time in the second or third Coley car, or how many ever they decide to have up here. He's very talented. He deserves to be up in the Cup. He's got a very mature driving style. And he's very talented and very skilled.
I think he would do a lot better this time around than he did when he was with JTG, especially with this new colleague renaissance. So I really would hope that he gets a full-time ride. But hey, you got to make room for the man, Ross Chastain.
And if you watch the race today, like, again, it's a different car, it's a different series, it's different competition. He literally pulled away from the field. Just was up by 9 seconds. It was crazy, the gap between him.
It was no contest today. Almandinger was the car. Probably bringing that not same car, but that same energy into this race. 11.2, I don't think is a bad price tag either. I mean, it is very expensive, but this is a car that's going to be inside the top 10.
And he's got an outside chance to win this. So yeah, definitely.
Exactly. He not only can he get place differential points, he could lead laps in this race, and that's a huge advantage. Garrett Smithley, Scott Heckert, Joey Hand, Josh Bilicki, Justin Haley, Timmy Hill. Any interest in any of these people?
Smithley, not really. He's not as bad as Greg Galding, who I think they're like twins, like the two of them.
Pretty much.
They seem like the same person, honestly.
Have we ever seen them in the same room?
I don't know. You know what? I was trying to tell my daughter that, I thought Megan Thee Stallion and Lizzo were the same person because,
for the longest time, I thought they were.
So, but maybe
here we are, old guys.
Yeah. Okay. So Scott Heckard he's a ringer.
Yeah.
I don't know about the equipment. Hand, same thing. He is a road course ringer. Now, here's the thing. It's a Rick Ware car, but it's actually Stuart Haas has given them some tech and support, and it might be like as a case like in Xfinity, the 99 car, that Stuart Haas did the same thing. I think it was BJ McLeod car, but it was just painted that and named that, but it was really a Stuart Haas car. And I think the same thing is holding true here with this Rick Ware car. Joey Hand is a sports car driver, so he's intriguing here as a GPP at 62 with place differential. Will he Preston Pardus it and do like really well, or will he be like some of the other road course ringers in Xfinity and make his way up for a little bit of the race, but when the cream rises to the top, and then when you look at the end, he's finished somewhere in the 20s and maybe got you like 25 DK points, nothing like super exciting. I mean, it might be enough to make value, but I don't think it's going to be like get up into the top 5 like Sam Mayer did today out of nowhere.
Yeah, the Joey Hand play is the only one I'm interested in this price range. The 52 car at Indianapolis with Josh Bilicki finished 18th. So it looks like this car has, hopefully they're bringing that same road course car from that race to this race that has, some good handling on it. And, hey, sports car guy, he could be bringing in some good momentum. I don't care about what has been done or said about racing with these crappy cars in the past. I'm just going to race my race, and maybe I can come away with a good outcome. 6,200 priced up because of all of that narrative. I don't think that's too high, but I think it just tells you where the Cole Custer play is.
I wonder if it's like European. I wonder if it's not Joey Hand. I wonder if it's like Joey Hand.
Oh, Joey Hand. No, I found a small clip. It looks very American.
No, Joey Hand.
No, he looks like Joey from Indiana. So okay. Next up we have Blicky Haley Hill. Any love?
I hope Blicky's okay after his little flight pattern.
Yeah,
but
that was quite.
But he's in the 15 car, which I think is one of the better Rick Ware cars. So I still not super excited. Like for $5,000, and I would not play anybody. I'd reconfigure my lineup and do better. At that point, I don't think you need to stoop this low. Justin Haley is way overpriced. And this is a Spire car. Maybe he's going to Cully next year though too, and I heard that like they've been giving them some equipment and tech and stuff just so he can like finish the season strong as he moves on to the next team.
Yeah,
but I still don't think 7,400 is going to. Oh, he did good in Xfinity, but that's a completely different car, different system, different competition. And Timmy Hill, he's the one you're going to be like, oh, well, he can't lose any points. So at 4,900, I'm going to play this punt. And then you're going to look and be like, how on earth is he down 25 laps on a road course?
Like out there just in minimum speed at all.
Like he's driving a golf cart.
Yeah. It's just, hey, he's met minimum
you're going to see the pace car lapping him.
Yikes. All right, well, that will probably wrap things up for this driver by driver breakdown. Thank you, Mega, for helping us out with the playoff picture. Guys, like this video, comment below with the McDowell or Suarez comments. Also, talk me off of Ross Chastain and the Quinn Huff stack. You won't need much help, but it was a blast. Mega, thank you for recording tonight, guys. Good luck tomorrow in your NASCAR contest. 5 weeks left. Let's finish strong. Let's win some money, and good luck. Thank you.
A couple of shout outs before we go. Tim Jenkins,
do it up.
Thank you for being so devastated we didn't have any videos last week and being a loyal watcher this season. And also, if you guys like free stuff, MLB postseason, McKinley and I have dropped the paywall, so that is free. So if you want to play any MLB postseason, and we also opened up a free European Basketball League, or EL. We don't know, the contests aren't great or anything. It's a double week coming up, but I haven't I'm not being able to commit to do every single slate, but we've actually created a free community on FSI and our Discord. So all you have to do is go to our website and sign up and subscribe to the package. We don't make you give a credit card number or anything like that. We're not going to send you any spam email or anything like that. It's just subscribe to it so you can get into the Discord, come into the room, and if it's something that you want to do for some weekday fun, it's again, contests aren't great, but it's one of the most tilting sports out there next to esports, I think.
Well done, Mega. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Get on board
You got
with
hockey
that.
going on too, don't you? Coming up.
Yeah, I was just about to say McKinley and I his transition out of baseball transitions into hockey. Tonight was the last preseason slate. We did fairly well. He had a takedown on night one for preseason. I had a couple of top 10 finishes. We look like we're working really well together on building some solid cores, guys. We just put up the NHL stuff on the paywall. So get to that website, subscribe for that season package, get signed up for NHL. It's going to be a fun year. And we will come out with a couple of videos, probably solo videos for, big major slates on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. All right. So Mega, again, thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your night and good luck building your NFL lineups, guys, and your NASCAR lineups, especially. All right.
Texas
take care, boys. Yeah, there you go. All righty, man. Take it easy.